The Files tab in the Configuration pull-down lets you set up the file names for log data, messages, snapshots, for autoplot saves, as well as if the date and time should be appended to the messages and snapshot file names. Plus, you can select to snap just the plot area or the entire screen. Since this may be your first experience with MakerPlot, let's explain what these file names mean. But in the meantime, in this video, I'm just going to go through the Files tab setting and not show you any examples of things like data logging or screen snapshots. Those examples come later in this video series. I just want to acquaint you with what's in the Files tab so that you know where to look when you want to reference it or change some of the settings and names. So let's get started. The data saves file name with a default of sdat.txt is for saving log data. We'll see in another video in this series exactly how to save data to this file, and of course it can be changed to whatever file name you want. One thing you can do is change the .txt extension to a .csv extension to make the file compatible with Excel. The message saves file name with a default of smsg.txt is for saving messages that happen to pop up from time to time in the data processing activities. Having these messages saved can be important when analyzing data or for debugging. The next file name involves screen snapshots. The default is a save, and unless you specify otherwise, the date and time will be appended to each snap with the a save file name. A snapshot, by the way, is a JPEG screen capture that can be very valuable for debugging or just for recording what's on the interface. Besides capturing the interface screen and the JPEG image, you can also capture the individual analog and digital plots in another file with the PLT or plot extension. The default name is the same as for snapshots, a save, but of course that can be changed too. Now, a PLT extension will capture the actual plot data, not in a JPEG or bitmap, but the actual data that can then be replayed back on the interface screen. And again, more about data playback when we get to the player functions. Finally, there are two checkboxes that can alter the file names just mentioned. The one, use entire form for snapshot print, means that the entire interface screen will be captured for a snapshot or for printing. Since the no-frills plot that you're looking at now covers the entire screen, it doesn't matter if this is checked or not. However, when we get into placing objects like meters and switches on the interface, this particular plot area will be reduced. So if this box is unchecked, only the plot area will be saved in a snapshot. Otherwise, if it is checked, the entire screen with all the meters and switches will be captured. So that's the difference. Now, the append date and time box is normally checked, as this is a good way to know when either a snapshot, message, or plot is saved. The date and time are saved as part of the file name. By unchecking it, only the basic file name will be saved. Now, what this means, however, is that there is a file name like a save for snapshots, and each snapshot will overwrite the older snapshot, and the older snapshots will be lost. So only the newer snapshots will be saved in the a save file name. So take care in unchecking this box. So in brief, this is the general overview of the Files tab, and we'll have more to say about how these file names are used later in the video series. But once again, none of these settings are permanently saved unless we do a macro build and save this plot to a new file name. Right now, these settings will work as long as we don't get out of the no-frills plot.